Research is hard, but your tools should not be. Subthesis.com is the free alternative to expensive software. Whether you need to calculate Cronbach's alpha or organize your field notes, Subthesis has a tool for it. No paywalls and no registration required. Check the link in the description and let's dive into today's lesson. Welcome back to the PM Playbook. Today we tackle one of the most challenging aspects of project management, controlling changes without damaging relationships. The goal isn't to prevent all changes, it's to ensure changes are deliberate decisions, not accidental scope creep. Here's the paradox of change management. Change is inevitable, requirements evolve, business conditions shift, better ideas emerge. Some changes genuinely improve the project, but uncontrolled change is destructive. Scope creep inflates budgets, delays schedules, and frustrates teams. Stakeholders often resist formal change processes. They feel slowed down. They want quick decisions. Projects need both flexibility to adapt and discipline to deliver. Change control provides that balance. Change control is a formal process for evaluating proposed changes to project scope, schedule, budget, or quality. The process ensures that before any change is accepted, its impact is assessed. What will this cost? How will it affect the timeline? What are the risks? All decisions are documented with their rationale. You'll know why you made each decision, and changes receive appropriate approval. Small changes might be approved by the project manager. Large changes might require sponsor or steering committee approval. Let's walk through a practical change control process. This should be established at project start, not invented when the first change request arrives. Step 1 is submitting a formal change request. This should be a simple form that captures the description of the proposed change, the business justification for why this change is needed, and information about who is requesting it. The form doesn't need to be complex, but it needs to exist. Verbal requests get lost or misremembered. Written requests create a record. Even a shared document or a ticket in your project tracking system works. Step 2 is impact assessment. This is where change control adds value. For every proposed change, assess the effect on schedule. How many days or weeks does this add? Assess the effect on budget. What's the additional cost in dollars or effort? Assess the effect on scope. Does this change affect other planned deliverables? Assess the effect on risk. Does this introduce new risks or affect existing ones? Document this analysis. The requester needs to understand the true cost of their request. Step 3 reviews the options. You might accept the change as requested, along with its stated impact on schedule and budget. You might accept with modifications, implementing a simpler version that achieves the core intent. You might defer to a future phase, acknowledging the value but not including it in current scope. Or you might reject with explanation, documenting why the change isn't appropriate. Present these options to the decision maker. Let them choose with full information. Step 4 is the decision. The appropriate authority approves or rejects the change. Define thresholds in advance. Changes under a certain dollar amount or day count might be approved by the project manager. Larger changes might require the sponsor or a change control board, sometimes called CCB. The CCB is typically a group of stakeholders with decision authority who review significant changes together. Whatever the mechanism, document the decision and the rationale. Step 5 implements approved changes. Update your project plan to reflect the new scope, timeline, or budget. Communicate to affected team members. They need to know what's changed and what's expected of them. Adjust the project baseline if appropriate. If the sponsor has approved a new timeline, your baseline shifts. You're not late against the old baseline. You're tracking against the new one. Track the change implementation just like any other project work. Now let's talk about the interpersonal side of change control. The process protects the project, but how you handle requests protects relationships. Here's the key insight. Never actually say no. The word no damages relationships and creates adversaries. Instead, say yes, and here's what it costs. We can absolutely add that feature. It will add 3 weeks to the timeline and require $50,000 in additional budget. Let the requester decide whether the change is worth the cost. Your role is to be an advisor who provides accurate information, not a gatekeeper who blocks requests. Most people withdraw requests when they understand the true cost. When a change request would be expensive, offer alternatives. Can we achieve 80% of the benefit with a simpler version that costs half as much? Is there a different approach with lower schedule impact? Could this be a phase 2 feature after we deliver the core product? Would you accept a trade-off, adding this feature but removing another? Alternatives show you're trying to help, not obstruct. Often, the requester accepts an alternative that meets their core need without the full cost. Sometimes requesters won't accept the cost but insist on the change anyway. That's when you escalate. Bring the matter to your sponsor or steering committee. Present the facts objectively. The stakeholder requests this change. The impact is this timeline extension and this additional cost. I've offered these alternatives, but they want the full change. Let leadership make the call. You've done your job by providing accurate information. The decision is above your pay grade. Document the outcome. You'll face pressure. Stakeholders will push, they'll question your analysis, they'll try to minimize the impact. Stay calm. Getting defensive escalates tension. Acknowledge their needs. I understand this feature is important to you. I want to help you get it. Repeat the impact information calmly. Based on our analysis, this is what it will take. Don't take it personally. This isn't about you. It's about competing priorities and resource constraints. You're the messenger, not the cause. Change control credibility is built over time. Be accurate in your impact assessments. If you say a change will add 2 weeks, it should add 2 weeks, not 4 and not 1. Don't pad unnecessarily. If stakeholders believe your estimates are inflated, they'll discount them. Deliver on commitments. When you say you can absorb a small change within existing buffers, actually absorb it. Over time, stakeholders learn to trust your assessments. When you say something is expensive, they believe you. That trust makes change control much easier. The best change control happens before changes are requested. Let's talk about preventing scope creep at its source. Prevention starts with clear scope definition. At project start, define scope precisely. What's included, what's explicitly excluded. Document both and get stakeholder sign-off. When change requests arise, reference the original scope. This request wasn't in our agreed scope. It's a change. Now let's assess the impact. Clear documentation makes it harder for scope to creep unnoticed. Everyone agreed to the boundaries. Changes to those boundaries require explicit decisions. Conduct regular scope reviews. Compare what you're actually doing to the original scope. Has work crept in without formal approval? Scope drift often happens gradually. A small addition here, a minor expansion there. Regular reviews catch drift early. When you find informal changes that weren't approved, formalize them. Either put them through change control retroactively or push back. We seem to be doing work that wasn't in scope. Let's either document this as a change or stop doing it. Manage expectations continuously. Communicate what's possible within the project constraints. Help stakeholders understand trade-offs. Every addition requires time and resources that could go elsewhere. Celebrate what's being delivered. Stakeholders focused on what they're getting are less fixated on what they're not getting. Keep focus on the original objectives. The features that seemed essential at project start should still be the priority. Don't let new requests displace original commitments. Maintain a change log that tracks all requests. For each request, show its status: submitted, under review, approved, or rejected. Include the decision date and the impact for approved changes. Make this visible to stakeholders. Visibility creates transparency. People can see that changes are being managed systematically, not arbitrarily. The change log also provides a historical record. At project end, you can show how many changes were requested, accepted, and rejected, and what their cumulative impact was. Let's practice. Think of a recent change request on one of your projects. How was the impact assessed? Was there formal analysis or just a quick estimate? How was the decision communicated to the requester? Was it clear and documented? What could you improve next time? More thorough impact analysis, better communication, formal tracking. Identify one specific improvement you'll implement on your next change request. Let's summarize. Change control ensures changes are deliberate decisions, not accidental scope creep. The formal process protects the project while remaining responsive to legitimate needs. Never say no. Say yes, and here's the impact, and let requesters decide. Offer alternatives that meet needs at lower cost. Clear scope definition and regular reviews prevent creep at its source. Change control isn't about blocking changes, it's about making good decisions. In our next lecture, we tackle earned value management. It sounds intimidating, but I'll explain it in plain English. You'll learn how to objectively measure whether your project is on track, ahead, or behind, and whether you're getting value for the money spent. Thank you for exploring change control with me. Protecting your project doesn't mean being inflexible, it means being deliberate. I'll see you in the next lecture where we demystify earned value. Research is hard, but your tools should not be. Subthesis.com is the free alternative to expensive software. Whether you need to calculate Cronbach's alpha or organize your field notes, Subthesis has a tool for it. No paywalls and no registration required. Check the link in the description and let's dive into today's lesson.